Hi guys, Suzie Yule Diadem here. I'm glad and I'm grateful to God that we still have another opportunity to share our lives. Living positive regardless. Doesn't matter the point at which we are in life, but we rock positivity all the way. Guys, we agreed that this is a place where we impact each other with positive vibes and of course with wisdom and knowledge here and there. And today, I'm glad that I have a visitor. Karibu sana JN. Start with, I'll just let my guest to just introduce himself and let us get to know who you are, maybe what you do, where you are from, and all that. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Susan. I'm glad for hosting me. I'm Jeremiah Karanja. I'm born again. I love Christ as my personal savior. I'm a husband of one wife. Okay. I have 5 children. So I thank God for the blessing of children. And professionally, I'm a certified secretary. I'll be explaining much more what being a certified secretary means.
Okay.
I'm also a HR professional, and I'm also a lawyer.
Okay.
So quite a number of things there. Thank you.
Wow. I like that. The reason we have JN here is because I find him that he would be so helpful to the youth, because come and talk about good leadership, skillful leadership, come talk about governance, come talk about academic achievements. I mean, so much I admire of you, and that's why I feel that we would be benefiting a lot. Because my viewers at this point allow me to introduce the topic for today. I want him to help us on choosing our career. This is a time where we have had Form 4s, they have cleared their secondary school, and now they are joining college. Others are trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives, and I believe that this is a very crucial time in someone's life, because probably it shapes the next level or the next life, how they are going to live. So just getting right into it, JN, allow me to ask you, what do you think the choice of a career entails?
The choice of career is a combination of many things. One is the interest. What do you want to do? But also coupled with interest is also your capability, because I'm sure most of us, when we were young, in nursery school, we asked, what do you want to be? And all of us said pilot, doctor. I was one of those who said pilot.
Wow.
Now I'm 40 years old. I have never even attempted to be a pilot.
Wow.
So at one point you have to come to realization that was a good dream, but is it achievable? You based on the environment, the capabilities, because for example, being a pilot would entail maybe you become an engineer. It will require mathematics. I must confess I'm not very good in mathematics.
Okay.
At one particular time, I remember back in high school, in Gaishajiro High School, my mathematics teacher told me, you Karanja, even if I boil this mathematics book and give you a soup to drink, you can't get anything. You should just tell the Minister for Education to exempt you from the mathematics paper. So at one point I had to come to realization, maybe that's what I wanted to be, but it's not what I'm capable, and that's what not God have gifted me.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Now, when it comes to choosing a career, you've been in the corporate for such a long time, so at least you are able to enlighten us and open us to know the opportunities that are out there. But now my question is, when we have a list or a bucket of the choices to choose from, how do I know that this is the right career for me?
Yes, of course, our education system has been blamed for many things. Among many other things that have been blamed for is where you are taught all manner kind of things. You use the entire 8 years in primary school talking about 844, and sometimes it have been questioned exactly. If you look at the knowledge that you acquired, you are taught that a locust, you have how many legs, a housefly has how many. So at sometimes you ask yourself, where will I use the legs of a housefly, and all that. So sometimes you get lost in that, but we must also appreciate that it gives you a very wide base of many things. So at that very formative stage, you are able to know quite a number of things. You are taught home science, you are taught art and craft, those of us who did 844. You are exposed to so many things. By the time you go to high school, again it narrows a bit down to a few subjects, but still it's quite wide. And we must also appreciate the role of teachers, because even as all that is happening, there are also teachers guiding you, telling you this is what is out there. But I must confess that majority of students, by the time they leave Form 4, they have no idea. Because if you ask an average Form 4 leaver, they know of the traditional career. They will tell you doctor, nursing, teacher. There are quite a lot of things outside here. Of course, the generation today is much more enlightened thanks to technology and internet than in our times. Because now you hear in high school, I talk to high school students and you hear them telling me, I want to be an artist. Those are not things that you would have thought of during our years. Actually, if you try to go and tell your parents that you want to be an artist, that would be World War III declared in that house. But because of technology, because of exposure, nowadays students are able to access quite a number of things that are available. But coming to your question, at what stage? One, I would say, after going, of course, by the time you are in primary school, you have started having some interests, because that is the beginning point. What is the interest? What do you want? What interests you? But that interest, unfortunately, you are not very sure where can it be useful. Because I could be having interest in a certain thing, but I'm not very clear what career would that be. Again, that interest is further refined in high school, and now you have at least you have some guidance of some careers that where the interest can be useful. And also by that time you have come to reality of the matter, that was my interest, but am I really gifted in that area? Because there is interest and also gift. If I say my interest is running 100 meters, but I can't even finish 50 meters, I'm like a tortoise. So I may have the interest, but that is not my area of gifting. The other thing is the environment, because it's true, I may have the interest, I may have the gifting, but the environment in which I am in also shapes what I will eventually be. Because if we are talking about, for example, just giving the earlier example I had given, being a pilot, you have the interest, you also have the gift, so the mathematics, the engineer, the physics, you can, but maybe one financial ability at your home, and that will also influence which school will you go. It will also influence, do you have people also to inspire you? A combination of all those things can also shape what you eventually become. However, let me say this, there is also very important point. There is also the place of God. In all this, the environment and everything, there's also the place of God. And those who believe in God also keep on asking God, what is your purpose? Because just like a carpenter does not just wake up and decide, I'm going to make something which look like this, and then I start imagining what will this thing be used for. So he first realizes people need to sit down, and they need to sit down on a seat. So he goes ahead and make a seat. It's the same thing. God created us with a purpose. God did not first create us, then start imagining, now that I have created Susan, what can Susan be useful for? So he first had a need, which he created you to fulfill that need. So it is therefore very important in all this, ask God to reveal to you why did you create me? And God has an answer. Through his word, through prayers and in many times in my life, I have asked God for very specific things, and I have seen in very mysterious ways, whether he will set people or whatever means that he used, but answering me, this is the way that I want you to walk by.
Okay.
Yes.
At what point did you drop your when I grow up I want to be a doctor, or I want to be a pilot? For you it was a pilot. I want to be a pilot, and now you went to certified secretary.
First, the story of pilots, I was just giving it as an example. I can't even remember in nursery school what.
But definitely those were the dreams that we
yes,
had.
Those are the dreams. And of course, the inspiration is when you see airplanes flying on the air, you think those guys, their work is just, their life is just in the air. So those were the inspirations. In high school, I think at one particular time I had so many things until sometimes I was confused. There were what the teachers were telling you, you can be a good this and this, there's what you are imagining. So I was in a mood of confusion. When I finished, and maybe I can just go back and say, and even maybe start what I'm doing currently, so that I answer that question properly. When you talk about certified secretaries are not the office secretaries. They are engaged in the highest management of organizations, and they deal with issues of governance and compliance. For example, every public company by law is required to have a company secretary. That company secretary must be qualified. You go to an examination body called CASNEP. You sit for exams, section 1 during our time up to section 3. And then up to section 6. And once you qualify, then you are called a certified secretary. Now, once you become a certified secretary, now you can be engaged either as a company secretary, in the case of public companies. If you are talking of county public service boards, the ones that employ people in the counties, the CEO of that board, and who is also the secretary, also must be a certified secretary. You have other organizations like trusts, they have trust secretary, commissions have commission secretary. So those are the secretaries I'm talking about. Their work is issues of governance, management, administration, compliance, ethics, integrity. That's what we are trained on. Currently where I work for the institute called Institute of Certified Secretaries. So we are the regulators of all these certified secretaries in Kenya. And by the grace of God, from April last year, I was privileged to be the CEO of that institute. So I currently serve as the Chief Executive Officer for the Institute of Certified Secretary. Now, at what point did I decide I wanted to be a certified secretary? Maybe if I tell you, it seems funny, but that is the reality. I had no idea of something called certified secretary. I have an elder brother who that time was in KU and was doing BCom, and he had also done CPA to be a certified public accountant. Until today, he is still an accountant. So he used to tell me, you need to do CPA. And I also wanted to do CPA because during those days when you finished high school, you would stay for 2 years before joining campus. So I was also looking for a way to get out of home, because there I was the one picking tea and taking care of the kettles and all that. So he told me go to CASNEP and register for CPA. So when I went to CASNEP, and my dad had given me money to go and pay exams to register for CPA with CASNEP. When I went there, I just found some brochures there, one for CPA, another one for CPS, Certified Public Secretaries. I looked at the two of them, and I thought the one for CPS was more interesting to me. When I looked at the course content, it was dealing with issues of management, governance, leadership. It excited me. On a light note, also I was interested by the color. because the CPA color brochure was, I think, brownish. This other one was about yellow. So I was interested in the car, so I decided.
Napenda yellow.
Yeah, so I never even told anybody at home what I'm doing. So they all along knew that I was doing CPA. So even as my dad was paying the registration, he thought that until the exams for that semester were posted. Those days they would be posted by post office. And the results went home. My dad looked at the post office and opened, so the exams for my brother and mine are different. These ones are brown, these ones are yellow.
Wow.
And unfortunately I had also gotten an award, so there was a check of, I think, 10,000. Because I was the best overall in the country.
Wow.
For that section. So he started, what is this? I'm seeing, they made a mistake. This one, yours is written CPS, but your brother is CPA. So he asked me what it was about. I would also not explain. I was not sure actually what it was all about.
Wow.
So he was asking me, when you finish, what will you become? I had still not clarified my mind exactly what it was about. What interested me is the content. And also because I hated mathematics, to be sincere. So now when I looked at the content for CPA, it was calculations and calculations. This one, though, it had calculations, but minimum. So I wouldn't say, I would be lying if I told my listeners here that I had planned my career very well, and therefore I did. Mine, I would say, God divinely led me into that.
Wow. And
I would say, I think when I got into it, I liked it, and my passion was there.
Okay.
I cleared university in the year 2008. And since I finished university, throughout my life, I have, of course, I have done so many other things. I have practiced that as a HR. I have done a bit of other things. But all my life since then, I have just been dealing with as a company secretary, as a certified secretary.
Okay.
So everything that I have done through even the other courses I came to do later, whether it's the human resource management, whether it's law, I only did them to enhance my primary profession, which is certified secretary.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. That interests me to get to learn that story. And now that leaves me thinking, are there wrong career choices that you would have picked, and you only to realize later? Do you have anything like wrong career choice?
Yes. In my life at the university, I did a degree called Bachelor of Arts. And those days there used to be things called major. Double major. So I did Bachelor of Arts, Political Science, Public Administration, and Communication. Quite mouthful. I can't say I struggled, though that was not my choice. You remember in Form 4 we used to choose which degree do you want to go and do in university. I had nothing about Bachelor of Arts. So those days the teachers used to tell us the prestigious careers are science-oriented. So go do biochemistry, go do physics, and all that. And I thank God I was never called to do any of those ones that my teachers advised, because I would have struggled. I had actually chosen those careers. I was not doing badly in biology. Actually, most of the time I used to be at the top of my class in biology, also chemistry. What was a big bother for me was mathematics. And actually it may interest my listeners to know, I'm not one of those bright students, as you may put it. Actually I failed in my Form 4, and I failed properly. I had a D in mathematics. And of course other subjects also I had not performed very well. But I was determined, and I think I also want to appreciate the place of having people who inspire me. I think one of my inspiration was my older brother, that he was in the university, and we are almost the same age. You know, thank God we also come from a large family. Those ones that you say do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Okay.
So the brother that I follow, I think we have a difference of 1 year. So even in primary school, people used to think we are twins.
Wow.
So when he went to the university, I was very determined I must also go to the university.
Mm-hmm.
So after my first attempt, and I could not make it to the university,
Mm-hmm.
I was very determined. I say I have to repeat, and I repeated. And on my second attempt, eventually I got a chance to be admitted to the university,
Okay.
University of Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had chosen so many things based on what my parents, and not my parents really, but my teachers had advised me.
Mm-hmm.
And they had told me the best careers in this country are those, either they are mathematics oriented or science oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So I had chosen those careers.
Mm-hmm.
Today I look back and I think if I had been admitted to do whatever I had chosen, I would have really struggled. Mm-hmm. Because one, it was not in my interest. Mm-hmm. I was never interested in sciences. Mm-hmm. Though I was performing well, I would say I was performing well. You know, there are things you do, you perform well, but because of overworking. Biology and chemistry, I would perform well, but I think I used to read a lot on those two. Okay. The same thing now, it may also surprise you that when I went, even in CPS, those days, financial accounting, mm-hmm. and in section 1, I was among the best in the country. I actually got an award. But not because I was talented, mm-hmm. not because I had an interest, but because I knew mathematics was a struggle for me. Mm-hmm. So I think I overworked.
Dedicated every
yes,
time.
Yes, you
there.
drop everything and you just want to study. So you are doing it, yes, and with a lot of struggle. Mm-hmm. And I think if I had chosen those careers, I would have chosen wrong careers because of the outside influence. Not because of what I want, but because of what people think about those careers. And I'll tell you, in my time at the university, I had many friends. And I have a few friends I can remember that were invited to do. One I know was doing engineering, another one medicine, and some never finished. Mm-hmm. Some never finished up to date. Since 2018, those are like how many years? More than 10 years, quite a number of years. Mm-hmm. They have never finished because you may find that what happens in this country, you are allocated a course. Even though you choose, but you'll be admitted based on the vacancies available. Mm-hmm. So there is this belief that if I get an A, I have to do medicine. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's not your interest, mm-hmm. because some of those careers are also a calling. For instance, medicine is a calling. Mm-hmm. So if you don't have a call for taking care of the sick, mm-hmm. You will struggle in that career. Mm-hmm. Yes, you'll be admitted to do medicine, you do and finish, but throughout your life, mm-hmm. you'll be feeling this is not what I really wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I don't have any connection in this. That's why sometimes you go to hospitals and you find a doctor who is treating you. You don't want to go to that hospital again. True. Because they are doing something which is not in their interest, something which they don't have a passion for, mm-hmm. something which they don't have a calling for. Mm-hmm. So the issue of passion, mm-hmm. is very important. So in a nutshell, I want to answer in the affirmative. Yes, there are careers which we would call as a wrong choice of a career. Mm-hmm. So you just found there because of circumstances, mm-hmm. or because of peer pressure, or because somebody else decided that is what you need to do, mm-hmm. But you have no interest in that, mm-hmm. and I can assure you, you will struggle in that area because it's not your area. It's like now taking a seat. We give the example of a carpenter. Mm-hmm. So you want to use the seat as a table. That is not its rightful purpose. Or you want to use it as a plate to serve ugali. So you cook ugali and put on the... It will not serve that purpose perfectly because it was not created for that. Mm-hmm. So once you ask God to help you know your purpose. It will really help you later in life, because you may do that big career that people are telling you is the best, but you are just doing for them.
Okay.
Later on in life, you will struggle alone.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Now, now that you've really expounded that there is a wrong choice of career, and maybe you've said a very major factor that you need to pray God to know which route are you to take. Kando na, well, I'm not saying like it's not an important factor when I say kando na praying about it. Do we have maybe you would say, who are the best people to help me choose my career, or what are the factors that I would be looking at, so that sometimes, as you said, you might be having a passion but you're not very clear, I passion yangu, which course would I be doing so that I will fit in there, so that I don't have skills that I never use. By the time we are finishing our Form 4s, do we really have the right information to know that this is the right career, that I will sail with it and I will not find myself at some point realizing that I have chosen the wrong career?
There is a saying in my mother tongue that says something like this, that that is to say, he who does not walk around. I think it's only his or her mother who cooks well.
Yeah.